We just want to bring you guys a couple of the games off the open bracket because we did have some very high level games in that tournament. I did not see anything of it because of course that was not the purpose, since if I know I'm going to have to cast the games I'm not going to watch them. I do know who won the tournament, but I definitely do not know who won between these two guys.
Yeah, and just as you guys can kind of tell, we've got, y'all can't tell, but what Kevin and I can tell, because we can see the in-game screens, is that these guys are both Korean players, and that this game was played on the Korean service. We've got a Korean TVZ starting off on Tal'Darim Altar with SC spawning down in the bottom right, and Galaxy up in the top left.
That is correct, Ben. As you said, it is going to be played on Tal'Darim Altar. As I mentioned before, we are very unfamiliar with these guys, so Ben, I'm just going to let myself get surprised by the playstyle of these two. Let's see if they have their own style or if they're going to throw kind of a standard TVZ at us here on Tal'Darim. We also have a second best of 3 off the open bracket. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going to tell you guys all about it. Maybe in the break after this game I can tell you guys which other game we are going to cast.
What we can talk about is that right now in the Korean TVZ metagame, Zerg is doing very, very well.
Yes.
Exceptionally well. I think you said today that it was something like 78% win rate for Zerg.
Yeah, I think 67.
Okay.
Over
the past 2-3 weeks, which is pretty damn intense. Zergs have been doing very well on the back of the Queen changes. It's just given them a lot more stability in the early game. It's forever. It's been Terran has to do damage to Zerg and then transition. But with this new Queen, it becomes so much harder. Hellions can't really run past. Creep spread becomes exponentially better because you want to build more Queens, and that just lets you spread creep faster. And it just does some fun things to the matchup.
Well, Ben, we see our Korean Terran player here opening up with 2 Rex very early on. We saw, I believe, 11-12 or 11-13, something among those lines. But the Zerg did already scout it. We just saw that Marine taking out the drone. So he knows what's coming, and he will try to drop a Spine Crawler, of course, as soon as possible. I wouldn't be super surprised. Well, he has a very quick gas, actually. Do you see that?
Yeah, he's wanting to get speed out. 15 hatch, 15 gas.
Wow, look at the Korean Terran player, Ben. He's already pulling all of his SUVs, so I don't think we're going to have a very long first game of the day. I don't think our Zerg is aware of this, though. He knows about the double Rex opening, but he doesn't know about all the SUVs that are coming his way.
Bit by bit, Kev. This is kind of a throwback to the earliest days of StarCraft 2. Spawning pool is not even done yet, so these drones are going to give chase to the
Spine
SCV
Crawler.
But no Spine has started, no Lings have started. There is money for double Queen.
Well, we barely have any Marines on the map as well. That's going to be quite a big problem. Right now we have 16 drones against 15 SUVs. And while the Zerg is going to get a super quick Baneling nest, so this is going to be his way to deal with this.
That's a really interesting choice.
But then I guess he's kind of going to sacrifice this hatchery, because I don't believe he's ever going to be able to get Banelings out in time to somehow keep this hatch alive.
We'll see. I mean, maybe if the Lings and the drones can deal with these Marines, but of course, SC's control should be pretty good here. He is microing very adequately. Spinecrawler trying to go up in the back of the natural as more bunkers are going to go down. Hatchery taking some damage. One SCV finally falls, but at this point in the game, SC is kind of driving things. I
really think speed perhaps would have been a better choice, Ben. Just get a Spinecrawler in your main base, then imagine what you can do with Speedlings on the middle of the map.
Oh no. So at this point, the Zerg player is walled into his base. Galaxy is stuck. But he does have Banelings, so it's not impossible for him to bust out. This is going to be very, very difficult, though. It takes 4 or 5 Banelings to take out a bunker.
Well, he's going to lose 1 Marine to that Spinecrawler. Right now, we have still 9 Marines on the field, man. We have 17 Zerglings and 5 Banelings. But that 1 Spinecrawler is doing a very good job against this 1 bunker. Then again, these SCVs are in perfect position. Here come the Banelings, though. 1 bunker will fall immediately. 2nd bunker falls too.
Oh, and he is going to...
Now the bunker is going to stay alive, man. It's massive repair.
The last bunker, and the hatch, as you said, did go down. The bunker will pick up a couple more Zergling kills, and Galaxy's in a lot of trouble. SC says, "Okay, I've done my job. Mission accomplished. Let's go back home." And what does Galaxy do to bounce back from this? He's making more Lings. He's getting Zergling speed. I think he's just going to try 1 final bust.
Yeah, I think that's indeed going to be the case. But SC should be aware of this. He should definitely throw up a bunker here. Maybe even an additional Rex, Ben, just to have that wall up there. Not because you want that Rex, but because you want the wall up. Now this bunker will finally fall. And obviously these 3-4 Marines in there are going to fall as well. He's going to try to take the expand again, or at least he's going to give the ID. So let's see if the Terran is going to throw that additional Rex up, and most likely perhaps a bunker behind it.
All it really needs is 1 more barracks to lock up this game, in my opinion. as SC is well ahead, 19 SCVs, 20 SCVs even to 14 drones. And it's going to be the hatchery and the command center in each player's respective naturals is going to finish at about the same time. So great position to be in if you're SC. And what do you do if you're Galaxy? Looks like he's just going to try to recover and play normal. He's making drones. He's making a queen.
If he can get his injects going, he is going to have at least a little bit of tech already, Ben. He basically has speedlings, he has a baneling nest, so that's going to allow him to just dump everything into minerals for quite a while. So you could say there is room for recovery, but it is going to be very hard, of course. And look at all these Rexes going up for a Terran player. This guy's crazy.
Yep. I'm going to follow this up with additional bio play.
And he's already 5 workers ahead. Of course, he's going to get double orbital in the near future as well. This command center is almost ready. Well, needless to say, the opening phase definitely went in favor of our Korean Terran player. But hey, it's Zerg, man. Injects are pretty good. If there's one way to come back besides Muse, you would say it's injects.
We'll see if it's possible for the Zerg to bounce back. He's still going to be very difficult. His hatchery just now finishing up, so it's going to be 24 drones against 24 SCVs.
The only thing that kind of works for him, Ben, is that the Terran didn't really take gas for a very long time. So Terran has absolutely no gas. He's going to have a good economy. He's going to have a lot of standard Marines, but no stim, no combat shield, nothing that's really going to boost the damage output of these Marines. And with a couple of speedlings and also those baneling, that baneling nest that he already has, maybe 2 or 3 banelings, he doesn't really have anything to worry about until at least stim is ready. But you would even say both, stim and combat shield.
Yeah, you're right. Stim is starting up. There's not another add-on for combat shield, so we're not going to see any additional upgrades for a Terran player just yet. Even adding that 3rd gas now. But really, I mean, Zerg has some tech, like you said. He's got the speedlings, he's got the baneling nest, but he's not been mining, just now resuming on the gas mining. But you know, there's no layer, there's no roach warren, there's no higher tech.
Oh, he's gonna spot those Marines leaving, and he's gonna spot. Oh, he didn't. I think he didn't see all of them. He's gonna try to make a small run by, or at least just try to get a scout off, but that's not going to work. Terran just wants to take a little bit of map control back. He doesn't, of course, feel comfortable with Zerg. Sees everything, and right now he's already forcing our Korean Zerg to make 18 Zerglings.
Yeah, which means this little poke is paying for itself already. That's 18 lings that could have been 9 drones. And if we see at the income tab, it's 34 SCVs now to 31 drones, so Terran's still ahead in the worker count.
Double evolution chamber going down as well in the main base of Galaxy. Well, meanwhile, of course, the SC is just waiting a little bit. He's going to get that reactor on his factory. He's going to switch it up with the starport. And then probably by the time he's going to have 2-3 medevacs out, I would say even even combat shield is almost going to be ready. And then he's going to force Zerg just to make units over and over and over again. And then I really wonder where Galaxy is going to get evil on economic terms.
Yeah, if he's going to come back, he's going to have to do it with some really good baneling detonations. He hasn't started his lair yet. But Zerg does have comeback units. They're infestors and believe it or not, burrowed banelings can be a really good comeback unit.
Oh, I believe it, man.
Basically, you know, if he's going to bring himself back into this game, he's got to. It sounds so obvious, but he's got to outplay SC. He's got to force SC to make mistakes, and he's got to get really, really good trades. So layer is now starting. We're also getting double upgrades, which is pretty awesome.
He could go for the run by right now. The depot's not raised.
Yeah,
he's gonna. Oh, yeah. Okay, what are you doing? Okay, finally, he's actually gonna enter the main base. He's gonna get a pretty good scout off. He's gonna spot the starport with the reactor, so he knows about the timings right now of Terran, and he might be able to pick off a handful of SUVs as well. So I would say this is worth it. Despite sacrificing 10 to 12 links, he's getting a lot of information. If it's information that he's going to be very happy with, I don't know, because he's gonna realize that he's not in a great position. But he's buying himself time, and he knows what's coming.
Yeah, he's buying himself so much time. You can see the entire army of SC.
What is the SC doing there?
Running around inside of his main base, trying to figure out what to do with these Zerglings.
I know it's hard to catch up Zerglings, but when you have that many Marines, man, it shouldn't be that.
Look at these 2 sneaky lings hidden in the back.
Oh, could morph into banelings, and they're already morphing into banelings. That would be really sick if he's managed to pull it off. 2 medevacs are leaving, though. They might actually spot these banelings. No, they're going via the north side.
Oh, wow. So this is what we were talking about. The way that you bring yourself back into a game when you are behind is by forcing errors and finding opportunities. And Galaxy, by running past, he killed some workers, and he's now pulled ahead economically.
Here come the banelings, Ben. He's already 9 workers ahead.
Will SC see it? Yes, he does, in fact, see it, and immediately pulls some SCVs to attack. So
he still lost 4?
Yeah, lost
4 or
4.
5.
13 SCVs in total were killed this entire game. Big double drop heading out for SC as he pushes along the bottom half of the map, but
the infestation bit is down, but Pathogen Glance has not been researched yet. And I like this multi-prong thingy from I keep forgetting his name, the SC, because it's gonna split Zerg up. It's gonna be nice. He's gonna, even if he has a couple of banelings, he might sacrifice all the banelings on one spot. And as you can see, he doesn't have the amount of units to really leave units left and right in his main base. He knows there are medevacs on the map, but that still makes it oh so hard to actually have units in perfect positions.
There are spines here and there, and Zerglings are heading over to deal with the drop, and the banelings are in position to deal with this other group of units. So I think SC is actually, I'm sorry, I think Galaxy is actually going to be okay here.
Well, that was like the only spot he shouldn't have dropped, because there was a spike roll over there. Still 4 more banelings here. Nice splitting finally by the SC. It took a little while. He's going to try to unload in the main base right now, and he will succeed in doing so. There's quite a few Marines in the main base right now of Galaxy. Yes,
Ling's going to be forced to engage back there. At the same time, at the third base, the Marines are poking forward. There's a spine crawler and a queen waiting to greet them, and Galaxy's doing a really good job of defending this, Kev. He's taken minimal losses. His economy has been untouched. And he is actually going to clean up both prongs of this aggression.
And the best thing is, Ben, 2-2 is already on the way for a Zerg player, so he's going to be way ahead in upgrades compared to this Terran, who's upgrading from a single engineering bay.
And Kev, we say it all the time. It's just the metagame right now for Terrans to delay siege tanks. We can see that SC only has 2 tanks out. Galaxy's playing Ling Bane, basically pure Zergling Baneling, and if he can get a big wave of Banelings up on top of that bio ball, there's just not enough tanks to really deal with it.
For the people who are just tuning in, we are casting a couple of games of the open bracket that happened a few days ago. Our normal broadcast is, of course, gonna start approximately at 6 Pacific, so 9 East Coast time, and then we are gonna cast Division 4 games, Ben, and it's an important day because some people could drop out of the league, but that's a worry for later.
Yep, 2 really big games for that upcoming broadcast: Cruncher versus Alive and Ret versus Select. Can't wait to see how those play out. The drop's still kind of hanging around in the back of Galaxy's main base. SC is ahead in supply and in army. It's actually substantially ahead if you look at the army tab.
He lost quite a few SCVs, of course, throughout the entire game. And he's still ahead in supply. He's going to try to pick up a couple of drones over here with this little drop. But I'm kind of starting to get kind of worried for a Terran, Ben. Despite normally when a Terran is 20 supply ahead, ooh, he might be able to pick up this queen. Zerglings to the rescue. You feel like, okay, this is Terran's games to lose. If Terran is now already ahead in supply, they're doing more than just fine. But upgrade-wise, he's falling so far behind. He's just working on 2-1 now, while Zerg is already on 2-2. Of course, he's most likely going to stick with that. But imagine if we're going to see a big Zergling Baneling just engagement, not even an engagement, just a big roll-in. He can sacrifice a lot of units. If he just messes right now on Zergling Baneling with a couple of fungals and he lands those good fungals. How many siege tanks do we have right now? Only 3. 4th is almost on the way though.
It's just the one factory, man. He's producing tanks 1 at a time. He is building a second factory, so we can see that he realizes the importance of getting more tanks out. This was SC's game to lose, Kev, but I do feel like he has allowed Galaxy back into it. We've now got a Zerg going up to 5 bases. He's been dealing with the harassment attempts, and now the Zerg army is pretty damn respectable. There's infestors, banelings, Zerglings, 77 drones charging this army.
Yeah, I must say I'm really impressed with the way that Galaxy handled this mid-game phase, because it's already hard for Zerg to do that in a normal game, and now he actually came from a bad start, so you know it's going to be extra hard dealing with Stim Marines, dealing with medevacs. When you have minimum amount of units, it's so easy to underreact just one simple time, and then you're going to lose everything, because if you can't kill the Marines, or only kill a few of them, medevacs is just going to heal them up again, and they're going to do an insane amount of damage. You might actually have the first real big engagement over here. No, not yet. As he has to be careful though. He has a bigger army, but
yeah, I mean this is not. This is not a perfect army for fighting against banelings. Of course, if you split your Marines well, then who cares? Banelings are going to die to everything.
+2 is going to be ready for the Terran as well for this fight, so that's going to help out quite a bit. There are no upgrades on the tanks.
These infestors are going to make it very difficult for good splits to happen, though, Kev. Oh, there's a pretty good fungal. And we are going to see... No, we're not going to see an engagement. Galaxy rethinking that at the last possible second, just waiting for more units to pop out.
Would you say it's a mistake to not have at least +1 on the siege tanks?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I would say that. But...
well, wouldn't it make a difference because the Zerglings already have +2 armor?
No. Well, once you have +1 on your siege tanks, they'll always do damage, right? Yeah.
Oh, they always do damage, man.
no, I know, but it's like they don't get just like they get like +5 damage with their upgrade.
Okay.
So it doesn't make a difference.
A couple of fungals landing on a few of these Marines over here, which are a little bit out of position. Big counter-attack here by our Korean Zerg Galaxy, who's going to pick off quite a few SCVs once more. And our Terran, he's really stuck on 3 bases, so he cannot afford to lose all that much more.
He's executing this push really well, though, Kev. I mean, he's lost a lot of Marines just here and there, but he's keeping his units split, making it hard for the Banelings to engage. Oh, and now we're going to see another attempt at a fight. Banelings going to roll in, and they connect mostly on the tanks. The tank count has really turned into nothing.
But if all those Zerglings come from behind, he's going to be able to take out this hatch on the 12 o'clock position of this map. But if all these Zerglings roll in with a couple of Banelings as well, I don't see how the Galaxy is going to, or how SC is going to be able to keep this army alive. He finally spots his base at 9 o'clock though. I checked before, he didn't see it yet. This is the first time that he sees it. Probably that misread Infesta gave it away. And wow, now he actually will be able to get all of his Marines out there.
Yeah, going to lift him up and fly away. So well done there by SC.
Yeah, he took
once
out
again,
2 bases.
Sort of solidifying his lead. Takes out 2 bases, kills a pretty good number of drones. But the most important thing here is now it's kind of even. If you just look,
ooh, careful with those infestors. Yeah, he's going to land a good fungals.
The economies of these guys, 3 bases each, and both mining about as efficiently as possible.
And that was the best thing about this whole push from the SC. He didn't just do some damage or killed a couple of units, he took out 2 bases. Now basically the Zerg, he has sick tech, he has Ultralisk Cavern, but he's mining from 1.5 base, because this base is going to be mined out in the near future as well. And he's actually the one going for 3-3 right now, while the Zerglings have just 2-2.
Yep, Ultralisk's on the way, and that's a pretty interesting choice in this phase of the game against this very well upgraded bio tank ball. We do have double siege tank production right now. There's a second factory has been added, and now there is the +1 upgrade.
And these are things, man, that I always think are sloppy. When you have so many Zerglings, there's really no excuse for not having a Zergling over here and not having a Zergling over here, which he has, but he doesn't have it on the bottom side of this map. So right now, Terrans is going to be able to drop as many mules here as possible. And even if they can only mine for 1 minute, we both know, and every Terran knows out there, how much you can mine in 1 minute if you drop 7-8 mules. And that's just something you cannot afford on this level.
Yeah, man. Mules basically go to the patch and bring back every mineral. These Zerglings are going to respond to this drop on the left side of the map, but SC paying close attention, losing only a single Marine before he picks up again.
But he's doing a really good job at making sure that Zerg stays on 3 bases for as long as possible.
Not only that, he's keeping Zerg so occupied with just, like, what, 2 medevacs?
And he's keeping Zerg away from his 4th base, which is on the 6 o'clock position of this map, which is an expand that Terran should never be able to secure in this phase of the game. Nice fungal right there in range of the Spore Crawlers. Once more, can shows you guys how effective Spore Crawlers can really be dealing with drops.
Yep, really great tool in the late game.
It's funny how long it took everyone to figure out that anti-air is actually one of the best things there is against drops.
It's pure Marine medevac siege tank against Ultralisk, Zergling, Baneling, and Fester. Galaxy's going to need a really good engagement here, and he is going to go ahead and try to force a fight, but the tanks are so well spread out, each one covering the other. I see playing this like a chess game, trying to stem and run forward and pick off an Infester, but does not succeed in doing so.
SC definitely doesn't want to fight yet. He just wants to make sure that he can secure 6 o'clock. He's going to pick off an Infester there and also forces a detonation of quite a few Banelings. Those are trades that he loves to make right now because Zerg has been stuck on these 3 bases for such a long time. Now he finally did secure this 4th base. I'm not sure what these Marines are shooting at. Overlord on the high ground. Oh, Baneling. Wow, beautiful positioning from these Marines.
Yeah, this drop has been so effective. It will find. Well, no. Again, SC picks it up, and again, it'll float away.
If those Marines had 3-3 ban, they would have stood there to the final minute. And it would have taken out all the Zerglings.
Finally, Galaxy says, you know what, I'm just going to build some spine crawlers. And
look at the production tab of Zerg.
Yeah, he's making a little bit of everything. Getting more upgrades, getting drop.
Yeah, which really surprises me, man. Because, I mean, if he's the one on 5-6 bases, I can understand that we see a production tab halfway across the screen. But he really doesn't have that much money. His income, well, he has quite a bit, he has a little bit of a bank. Because they haven't been fighting for a while. But his income, man, 1,100 is not high.
Yeah, and our Terran player, who has just been very slowly just expanding and taking bases, has finished a 5th command center. He'll be able to float that whenever he wants. That is a nice little fungal. And does kill off about 7 Marines.
We have Burrow, but we haven't really seen a Zerg player use it yet. He still didn't know about this base, but he's just going to run to it. Now he's going to spot it. And he's like, oh my god, this is an orbiter. I could have done so much damage. How long have you been mining? Then you check the minerals, and you see around 500 of each patch, and then you know that you made a mistake.
This base is dealt with, though, and I guarantee a couple lings will be left behind to make sure that it doesn't come back anytime soon. What is more daunting right now for the Zerg players, this big push coming around the top half of the mat. SC is going to once again...
2 infestors. Oh, he's using the side blocker.
So clumped up. Fungal does go down, and it's an okay Fungal. A second Fungal is going to land and also do some damage. Army coming back as fast as it possibly can. Can this hatchery possibly survive?
Come on, just use all these units. He can easily keep it alive.
His army's just stalled out, and the hatch will fall.
I have no idea what he was. He's making 8 Corruptors now at once, perhaps to deal with those Manifex a little bit. But he had all the Infestors. He had Infestors here as well. He has so many of them, but he could have killed all those units. And he didn't even have to lose the hatchery.
Instead, he did lose the hatch.
He's going to catch these 2 Manifex, at least one. Yeah, he's going to catch both. He's going to need to use quite a few Fungals though, but it's worth it. It's 2 Manifex full of units. Don't use those Banelings. It's a little bit of a waste.
Yeah, Galaxy playing some solid StarCraft, but there's definitely some...
It's not flawless.
Yeah, it's not flawless by any stretch. These 2 tanks also left behind by the SC are going to get a lot of drone kills. Jackpot.
Scan? Oh, faster!
No!
No! Ultra's like, oh, I saw what you did there. This is for my friend.
Chomp, 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 chomp. SC's army still just huge. He's added in a couple of Thors and he's beginning to make that big Marauder switch.
Imagine if you're sitting in a siege tank band and you're like stalled, you know, you can't drive away, and then an Ultra's coming at you. Oh. It's like a T-Rex, you know, like from Jurassic Park. Where's my machine gun? Shoot him in the eyes.
Just stand perfectly still.
Yeah. It's nothing here. And if he's too close to the siege tank, your tank is not even shooting, so you're like, oh, thank God. then he runs away, you're like, yes, and then your tank is like, boom! T-Rex goes crazy, he's like, this happens, man.
Happens every day in the StarCraft universe. Zerglings burrowed at each of the outlying expansions that SC wants to take.
I really like this. We have a little bit of action over here on the left side, but I love the use of a Nidus Worm right now. Even though our Zerg is still pretty poor, but I have the feeling that he's been poor for a very long time, and he's been getting literally a little bit of everything, so I guess he can afford it. He's even getting double air upgrades right now. He is a double Spire, he has a great Aspire as well, but I like the Nidus, man. He can be so annoying with this Nidus.
Yeah, I'm really eager to see how it comes into play. SC's army, man, is just terrifying. Plus 2 mech, 3/3 bio. Lots of medevacs.
And it's not just
poor stranded Ultralisks.
And it's not an army with 80 SCVs, man. He has 35 SCVs left, and he's almost maxed out. So all these Ultras are going to fall. This is like the moment when the T-Rexes are in trouble.
This is how the T-Rex went extinct.
Yeah, I was about to say that, man. We think alike. But I wasn't sure how to pronounce extinct.
Except
so
this one T-Rex. This is Godzilla right here.
No, these are like the bones. That, like he goes into like a deep sleep and he never wakes up. So we're gonna find his bones like 20,000 years later
like
in Egypt.
Like every time there's an earthquake, it's an Ultralisk unburrowing. Where was that Nidus? I don't know.
We have a couple of infestors over here. Oh, there's Nidus here. I think just in the main base, but so he can transfer some drones through the Aster. We have quite a few Broodlords. I mean, that Terran army is terrifying, man. What about this Zerg army? It's kind of funny. When I saw this game, I really thought it was going to be a 3, 4, 5 minute game, but somehow we ended up with a 32-minute game on Tal'Darim.
Infestors burrowed in the top right.
Yeah.
Do you think these have been forgotten?
No.
Okay, no, now they're moving.
I think he knows about this base, and in case the Terran is going to secure it, he just wants to fungal something.
Scary army for the Zerg player. Broodlord, Ultralisk, Infestor, Queen, Baneling.
This game is like feedback heaven. Look at all these purple energy bars.
If only Terran could make... If only Terran had a unit that could take away energy.
Terran has a ghost.
Yes, I know. Okay. SC's army looking just as scary, though, man. He's got the Vikings, he's got the Thors. Oh, a couple of Broodlords getting caught out here.
Oh, and the Brood Infestors is getting scanned as well, so he's going to lose 2 Infestors and even 2 Broodlords. That's quite an expensive loss. But he's still on 186 supply, but he's starting to go poor, man. Now Zerg is really starting to get a little bit poor right now. He's mining 900 minerals per minute. It's nothing in this phase.
I'm not sure why Galaxy didn't want to fight there. I mean,
me neither.
He's not producing anything, and that was his...
Oh, look at all these siege tanks, man. These are quite out of position as well.
That was as open of an engagement as he's probably likely to get.
We have 2 Thors, 4 Vikings, and 47 Marines. Do you think that's enough, NTR? I got my doubts.
It kind of depends on the infestors.
Yeah,
what's the medevac count? He's still got a pretty healthy number of medevacs.
Fungal going down on a few of these Marauders, and Zerglings will be able to take it out. Terran once more going to try to take this 6 o'clock position. Once more, Ben, a base that he should never ever be able to mine from. Quite a big drop over here on the north side. There were 2 ultras left behind, but those are not going to be enough to deal with all these standby units. And he's going to end up losing this hatch, so that means that Zerg will literally not be mining anymore. Zero, just from here, from the right top, but he barely has any drones there.
Those infestors did drop some infested Terrans at the expansion. That's the right side of the map, but there are SCVs there to repair. And it's going to be dealt with, so fruitless harassment attempt by the Zerg player, whereas Tyrion once more picks off another base.
I like this. He's going to have 2 infestors right now on the bottom side of this map. And I cannot emphasize enough on how important it is. If a player is not able to really secure a base, you should never allow him to mine from it, not even just for a minute or so. And now this the Zerg is actually Galaxies right on top of it. It's going to spawn a lot of infested Terrans. It's going to be able to take out these Mews, going to be able to take out the SUVs, and might even be able to take out the Orbital if Terran is not going to react quickly, and I don't think he is. So this Orbital will fall, Ben. Right? Yeah.
Indeed it does. These guys both maintaining the...
wow, the infested Terrans are so slow, the Orbital won't fall.
Man. I think Orbitals are faster than Overlords.
Yeah, yeah.
Because an infested Terran can catch
most speed. 094. Easier festival. Once more, a little bit of bio action on the right top side of the map. Well, this entire Terran army is standing here. Zerg is starting to get scary close, though. This game's pretty sick.
Just Marauders against the hatchery, and there's nothing else there to do anything about it. Infestor's going to drop a couple of infested Terrans, but that's not going to change anything. Drone's going to come off the line, and they're not going to fight. They're just evacuating. I think Galaxy realizes that if he's going to do something, he better do it soon.
It's 138 against 172, but Terran has a little bit of supply on the left side, a little bit of supply on the north side, so I would say these armies are about even. These siege tanks, of course, not all that useful. I think we're going to finally see the engagement of all engagements, man.
Yeah, Broodlord is going to start raining down. There's a lot of Corruptors here, and we'll see if there's enough to deal with the Vikings. Corruptors have to be careful not to stack up too much, or else the Thorls will do a lot of damage, but so far this looks like a pretty good engagement for the Zerg player. Baneling's going to come rolling in. Infestors coming in from behind. Beautiful late game army control here from Galaxy, and look at that Terran army melt away. 160 supply remaining for Zerg, only 110 for SC. And could Galaxy seriously win this game? Is it even possible?
Well, I think it is going to be very, very possible, Ben. This is the only mining base for the Terran right now, and I couldn't agree more. What beautiful army control was that. He didn't use a single unit that he didn't actually have to use. He knew all he needed to use on that moment were those Broodlords, and the rest would come. Broodlords did that job, then Terran was kind of forced to bring in other units. Then he could land those Fungals, then the Banelings rolled in. I don't think Zerg could have possibly handled that fight any better.
That was so well done, and now SC, who's played just a phenomenal game, has his back up against the wall, and he doesn't seem to have an answer to these Broodlords. And that is just a tiny Terran army right now. It's 114 army supply to 116 army supply, but it looks much worse than that. These Broodlords just increase the size of your army so much. Broodlings just...
Towards fighting Broodlings is never a good sign. Now they're going to try to focus those Broodlords, but we still have quite a few Corruptors, or even a lot of Corruptors. They're pretty decent upgrades as well. They are 1-1. The Vikings were at 0-0. That's not, of course, the type of Vikings that you want to have against Zerg in this phase of the game either.
No, not at all. And every single one of these Terran units is going to be cleaned up. Zerg has no money to reinforce with at all, Kev. So if he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it with just this force. The only mining that is happening for Galaxy is long-distance mining from this left side expansion.
Yeah, well, this is absolutely game over. Despite Zerg not mining for quite a while, Zerg has been mining 0, man, for quite a while. But it doesn't matter, because Terran is not mining anything either. And we still have this terrifying Broodlord army. I'm not sure what Terran is hoping for. He's trying to produce as many as Marines as possible. But there are still 8 Infestors as well, because he didn't even bring in the Infestors in the fight over here, on this crucial fight in the right top side of the map, where he left an Ultra behind. He was like, well, that Ultra saw some terrible things in his war days, man. He's not ready for battle anymore. Sometimes we're going to give him a break. The last Orbital is taking a lot of damage from these Corruptors as well. But how often don't you see all the Corruptors coming in, absorbing a lot of tank shots? And sure, the Broodlords still do that job, but Zerg also loses a lot. What did Zerg really lose in that fight? Maybe a handful of Corruptors.
Virtually nothing. It was the best engagement he could have possibly gotten. And it was a game-winning engagement.
Yep, and I love the fact that he kept those 2 Infestors over here as well. It's so important. I said it several times. Queens made their way all the way. This is like in chess, man, when like one of your workers makes it to the other side of the map and it becomes a queen.
Promote the pawn?
Yeah, this queen is a real queen. Not sure what our Terran body is hoping for,
SC
man.
having a hard time believing that he lost this game, as am I. Remember, it all started out with that 2 racks killing the Zerg's natural. And it's all going to end with a lot of Broodlords killing the Terran main.
Still have a couple of toys and a handful of Marines left, but this is an army, man. You're not going to kill.
Check out this ultra up here at the top right.
Ultra's having
It's a field day.
He already took so much damage, man. I think
it's like Chance going to the park with like a bucket full of tennis balls. You just dump the whole bucket at once, and he just doesn't know what to do. That's how that also feels right now. GG comes out.
After the final two tours flow and those hands full of Marines. Really interesting game here between Galaxy and XC. Once more, guys, if you just tuned in and you can't remember these guys being part of NASL Season 3, we are casting a few games of the open bracket just because we can, Ben. We started workday a little bit earlier and we said, let's take a look at the open bracket. What happened? We already know who won the open bracket. Many of you guys do know that as well. But that doesn't matter, Ben, because we want to see how it happened.
That's right. That last game brought to you by Epson Projectors. We're going to play a short commercial, and then we'll be back with game number 2.